All right. We'll do some warm-ups today. So the first one is called Pick a Purpose. So basically, I want you to pick one of these topics and then give a 30-second speech based on the purpose that I give you. Dhruvan, you can go first.
I'll do tacos.
Tacos? Okay, I want you to inspire us.
The tacos are really good. You can try them. They are very good. You can eat them. And when you eat them, they have special toppings. They have a nice outer shell that is crunchy. You can use it for ASMR videos. And tacos, they also taste very, very good. So basically, what I think about these tacos are they are very, very special and good.
Good job. Okay, Tejasvi, what's your topic of choice?
Rain.
Brain? I want you to entertain us.
About rain. Have you ever lived in a world without water? No, because there is rain. Every time there are clouds, I always pray that there's going to be rain because rain gives plants the ability to grow and sprout, which gives us fruits, which gives us food, which also helps us survive. Rain can also hydrate us by giving us water, and it also lets us take showers.
That was
Yeah.
good. I feel like that was more informative than
I
entertaining.
know.
Okay. Good try. Okay, Advik, what's your
I
topic?
choose broccoli.
Broccoli. I want you to persuade us.
You should eat broccoli because, first of all, even though they look green and disgusting, they're actually delicious. There's also other ways you can use to eat them. You can boil them. You can turn them into a delicious soup, and you can use them for toppings on pizza. And wait, broccoli also broccoli can make you healthy. It can make you strong, so that you can lift like heavy rocks if you're doing a challenge.
Yeah, that was good. Towards the end, you started using some filler words, I think, because you were just trying to find some things to say. But in the beginning, you did good. So just remember, slow down. It's okay. You can take
Making things
pauses.
up on the spot is difficult. I
Yeah.
don't blame you for having to take pauses or using filler words because it's natural. We're asking you to speak about something that's hard to talk about. But the best way that you can go about these things when you're trying to talk about something and you have to generate the next thing you say right off the top of your head is pre-plan out what your next point is while you're saying the first thing. So while I was talking about just whatever I was talking about before, I was already in my head preparing myself to say, to transition into what I'm saying now, if that makes sense. You want to try to use your time speaking as time to prep at the same time, which is difficult. It's hard, but the best thing you can do for that is just practice, which is good that you're keeping on practicing.
Okay, thank you.
Dharmik, is your sister there?
Is at a class, she'll come back soon.
Okay. Which topic are you going to choose?
Gravity.
Okay, I want you to inform us.
Gravity is what if you, for example, you throw something in the air, that's what gravity makes the thing fall down, because, for example, you can if someone is sitting below a tree, and if an apple falls on their head, they'll know it's gravity, because gravity is what makes things fall.
Basically, it's a force.
Basically, it's a force.
Slow it down a little bit. You have the right idea with what to say, but you just need to slow it down so that that things flow better. Because right now you have the idea in your head, but you're trying to get it out quickly, which leads you to stumbling and tripping over yourself. But still, it was a good attempt.
Yep. All right, one more. So I'm gonna give you 2 words, and I want you to connect them. I'll show you an example. This is difficult.
To in college,
Yeah.
like connect the word to in college. Is that what you want them to do?
Yeah, like get from one word to the other.
That's not difficult to do with these two at least. With these two,
Okay,
I can do it if you want me to.
sure.
Remember when you were in class? Maybe you were in kindergarten and it was the first time you were learning anything that had to do with math. While it isn't the first number that you learn, it is the second number that you learn. 2. In life, you use 2 a lot. You have 2 hands, 2 feet, 2 legs, and hopefully more than 2% of your attention on what I'm saying right now. Think about yourself sitting there or learning the number 2 and learning how to count, and where that's put you on track for middle school, maybe high school, and whatever you're doing right now to prepare yourself for your future. While those steps seemed insignificant at the point you were learning them, a lot of these things were preparing you for college and everything that you had to do with the rest of your life. While things may seem as small as one of the smallest positive numbers, I'm not very good at math, sorry. I think it's a positive number. As one of the smallest positive numbers, like 2, it can have a really big impact on your life, from where you go to college to where you end up working to where you end up settling and what you choose to do with yourself.
Yeah, that's good. Okay. Dhruvan, let me give you some. Connect these 2.
So sometimes a dog can come up to a delivery person. They might try to bite them silently. They might try to sneak up on them. So, all you just have to do is give them a warning. Then they will know that a dog is trying to come to them and bite them or bark at them or make them go away. So that's how they know. So that's how they know where the dog is and how you should and why. Is it not, I don't know why, but what is
Very nice. I think
You
you're
started you
flowing naturally.
Yeah, you started off really strong there. The pacing was good, the intonation was good, and you let yourself take breaks in the middle without stuttering over yourself. Really good job. As it got to the end, you messed up on a single word, which can feel really, really bad, especially because you're consciously trying to avoid it, right? You might feel bad that you messed up there, but remember that it's okay to take a little bit longer of a pause, even if it's awkward, even if people can tell that, oh, he's trying to figure it out. That's still better than repetitively tumbling on a word, if that makes sense, right? But good job. The beginning was solid and a really big improvement. I'm really proud of you on that. You're starting to get there and you're doing it really quickly. So nice job.
Yeah.
you?
Okay, I think.
Okay. Okay. Mm, okay. Imagine yourself in a setting like a place where you're in you're in a world where there's just chocolate. You could just go to the trees and they would be full of chocolate. And the houses, they're chocolate. And everything's chocolate. But there's a few things that can go wrong. So, if the sun would be like blazing hot, then the chocolate will melt and then the world would melt. So, yeah.
You do a good job of not using like or but don't switch using like or into just saying and. You want to try to use different transition words to make your ideas flow smoother. Again, try to avoid repeating the same exact word again and again, unless you're trying to intentionally use repetition to frame an idea, like how we saw in the Martin Luther King speech, where he was repeating a certain line at the beginning to try to get an idea into people's heads. If you're just using and then, and then, and then, it can feel a little bit repetitive and detract from the quality of what you're saying when you can use instead of and then you can use so because and yet there's a lot of different filler words that you transition words that you can use instead of saying the same one over and over again. If you just used a few different ones, that would make what you were saying seem a lot smoother.
Okay. Thank you.
And Dharmic.
So you all know the big green world that only life is guaranteed. The Earth. We can't die on Earth because there's so much light, and the thing that protects us from so much light is the atmosphere. The atmosphere acts like a barrier to the Earth, protecting it from so much light. And
Good.
tension and
Go on, sorry.
tension is what when you try to like if you're talking wait, try to get their attention so they'll understand you. And they'll enjoy your speech. Yeah, I'm finished. Thank you.
My bad. I thought you had reached a stopping point there. That's my fault. I'm sorry. Good job avoiding using like or That was in the beginning. Good job. Most of you guys have seemed to be completely past that now, which is really impressive.
Yeah. One thing I will say, I know it's attracting to like spin around, see if you can stay still because it conveys a sense of nervousness and like you're not confident.
I'll
A lot
try.
of times you'll see people fidget around. You try to want to avoid that.
I'll try to stay still. Yeah.
But good job.
Be loose and confident with your shoulders and your body language, but avoid doing stuff like this with your hands. Avoid keeping your hands super low or like crunching up with your body or moving sort of from side to side in like a repetitive motion. It helps calm you down. There is a valid reason to do it if you're nervous and you're by yourself, but when you're in front of people, it doesn't project your best look. It doesn't project confidence in the way that you want it to. Because right now I'm still, I'm solid, I'm stable. My hands are in front of me and it makes me look more authoritative than I actually am. If I change up my posture, I'm more like this. I'm fidgeting and I'm looking around and I'm turned away from you. It's hard for you to take what I'm saying more directly and seriously. it's human nature to get nervous, and you will want to do basic fidgety actions to calm yourself down, but avoid it. A lot of the importance that you will get, sorry, a lot of the value that you get from fidgeting to calm yourself down can be replaced by breathing or just mentally restructuring yourself to not be nervous when talking in front of a group of people. That can be worked on too. Remember that nobody is judging you when you speak, and there's no real confident consequence to messing up. That's the way that I go about things, at least. I make sure to remember that nobody cares when I mess up except me. And I'm fine with disappointing myself one day because I made too many mistakes when I was going through that paragraph there. That's okay.
Do you want to take this one or should I?
Yeah, I got it. So, like I was saying last class about the most important thing when you're giving a speech is your audience, right? Does your audience feel anything from what you're saying? And if they don't, then you're talking to a wall, right? There's nothing that you're getting from it if your audience doesn't care about what you're saying. So the most important thing that you have to sell the audience on is, why does what you are talking about matter to them? Why does it relate to them? Why should they care about the words that are coming out of your mouth right now? And the best way to make somebody care about what any topic is show them how it connects to themselves. So let's take a really wide ranging topic like the climate. It's very out there. There's a lot of stuff going on with it. No one person is really and truly in control of the climate. But if I was trying to convince you, say you were a voter, to support my policy that would limit climate change, I would talk about how your insurance prices would go up because there would be more natural disasters and you would have to pay more. The audience is likely voters who have homes and pay insurance money, and they're going to listen to me because I've taken this wide topic and I've connected it to them. I've connected it to what they need and want in their life. So the biggest part of this is, if I'm just out on the street and I don't know this person's homeowner, I don't know that they pay insurance, I can't make that point. So do your homework beforehand on the person that you're talking to. If you're talking to other kids, use things that they can relate to. If you're talking to adults, you're going to have to use a different set of strategies. You're going to have to make different points. If you're trying to convince your friend to go 50-50 with you on getting a new Switch, right? You want to buy the Switch too, and you're like, hey, you put in half the money, I put in half the money, and then we can play games together. Like, it'll help save us money. We'll already have Mario Kart, and we can already play that together. It's the perfect console for us to buy and share. That's the point that you would make with your friend. But if you're talking to your parents and saying, hey, can you guys buy me a Switch? You would say, oh, I've been doing good in school. This would be a good thing that we could do as a family. I think that I deserve it because I've been a good kid. Like, there are different strategies and points that you'll use with one group of people over another group of people. And you got to think, why, if I was them, would I really care about this? If I was if I was my parent and I was asking them to buy me something, why should they? Why would they care about buying me this thing? Or if I was in front of a teacher and I was asking them to raise my grade by 3 points to pass a class, why should they care about passing me? Right? You have to figure out what points will work with them. Most the real takeaway here is, think about why they should care about anything that you have to say, and most of the time that reason will go to, it affects them. Like, I've convinced teachers before to pass me because they don't want to do the paperwork of having to send me to summer school. That, there we go. They don't want to go through the effort of writing the paperwork to send me to summer school. So that's a good reason. That works with that audience. So think about your audience, think about what they want and need, and then tailor your points to that person. So if I was trying to sell somebody food or tell them to invest in my business, I would try to connect it to points that they have. And a lot of this can go into word choice, use simpler words with a more general audience, use more complex words with a more informed audience. They're different hand motions. Like how I talk to you guys as people who are younger than me and kids is very different to how I would talk to somebody my age on my own, right? It varies. So just pick your spots, so to speak. Pick the right it's like basketball. You pick the right shot for the right situation. Don't shoot from half court. Get a better shot, right? Use a better tone, use a better choice of lexicon, that type of thing, right? That's the most important thing to connect to your audience is to know them first. Do your research on who you're talking to.
We're not going to watch this whole thing, but here's just an example of how she explains it compared to a kid versus an expert. But just see how she talks and how it's different.
So notice the different
I'm
choices
Emily.
of words that she's going to use. Notice that she probably talks faster with the more informed adult versus the younger kid who probably doesn't know whatever the topic is about, physics, math, I don't know. But or with like a general person, like if she was talking to me, she would have to use much simpler words because I'm really bad at math. Versus if she was talking to Deepali, she could probably use some more complicated words because she's better at math, right? So watch that, try to notice that and see how you could apply that whenever you're talking to the next person that you see, right? You'll find you do these things subconsciously without thinking. You talk to your parents differently than you talk to your friends. You talk to your friends differently to somebody at school that you don't know yet, right? Watch it and think about that. Keep it in the back of your head. Actively watch, right? Go on.
Infinity. So what do you know about infinity?
I think it means that it's really just something that's infinite, that never ends.
That's a great way to think about it. Infinity is something that never ends, where finite, the opposite of infinity,
Oh, wait,
refers
the
to
sound is
a
coming through, right?
process or a quantity that we could actually count all the way through.
Can you
At
hear
least
it?
in theory,
Yeah, yeah.
if given enough time. So if you had to guess, how many Skittles are in this jar?
I would say about like 217.
217. And if we wanted to figure out the exact number, how would we find out?
We could like put them all on and divide them into pieces of 5, and then we could use that.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I did that before you got here, and it's 649 Skittles. Here's a much harder question. How many pieces of glitter do you think are in that jar?
Maybe like 4,012.
I'll admit I have absolutely no idea. Do you think it's a finite number or an infinite number?
Finite, because I can see them all in here.
Yeah, you can see them all. And in fact, if we were really, really, really patient, we could do the same thing as with the Skittles. But here's another question. You said that there's a finite amount of glitter in that jar, and I agree. So how many jars would we need to hold an infinite amount of glitter?
An infinite amount of jars.
Very good. Why do you say that?
Because if there's unlimited pieces of glitter, we need unlimited pieces of jar.
So let's try and imagine infinitely many jars. Would they fit in this room?
Okay, now I'm going to show you the expert.
Does infinity come up in your mathematics that you're studying?
One place infinity comes up is in algebraic geometry. Normally we think, okay, well, if you have two lines like this, you keep drawing them, well, they intersect right here. But in projective space, two parallel lines will also intersect at the point at infinity. Infinity is like this perfect concept for what we can add to a space that allows lines to have this more uniform property. Hey, what's your research in?
So one of my main research areas is something called category theory. It's been described as the mathematics of mathematics. It's a language that can be used to prove very general theorems. And an interesting aspect of being a researcher in category theory that doesn't come up as much in other areas is that we have to really pay attention to the axioms of set theory in our work. When you're proving theorems, have you ever used the axiom of choice?
Yeah, it's basically this idea that you can put a choice function on any set.
And a choice function does what exactly?
Yeah, that's a good question.
So the way I think about it is if you have an infinite or an arbitrary family of sets, and you know for sure that none of these sets are empty, then a choice function would allow you to select an element from each set sort of all at once.
So you see how you wouldn't go to the child and start talking about your research and all these proofs and theorems, right? She started with like jelly beans and candy to get her to understand and to keep her engaged.
And notice how in both cases, she still interacted with the audience. Like in the second one with the more professional research guy, she asked him like, oh, how does this affect your research? And then in the first one, she's like, look at this jar. How many things do you think are in this jar? That's audience involvement. That's very important. In both cases, she got the person that she was talking to involved. Sure, she chose the right words. All of that stuff is true. But if your audience can feel like they're a part of what you're doing with the speech, that's where it really goes from I'm talking at you to I'm talking to you. The more it feels like a conversation, I get that this is actually a conversation, but the more that it feels like a conversation, the better it is with regards to speaking.
I'm Emily Real, and I'm a
Okay, now we'll do an activity where you guys can practice speaking based on the audience that you're given. So I want you each to choose a topic, and then I'm gonna give you some kind of crazy audiences. All right, Dhruvan, which topic?
I'll do bubblegum.
Bubblegum? All right.
Give
I-
them like 30 seconds to get ready.
Yeah.
I will go and get water. I will be back real quick.
Okay. So your audience will be a panel of grumpy grandmas and grandpas. So take some time, gather your thoughts, and whenever you're ready.
Okay.
Oh wait, you're unmuted if you're trying to speak.
I know.
Okay. Actually, this might go quicker if you all just choose a topic and then I give you a little bit and I give you your audiences as well, and then we can all just think at the same time and then go. So Advik, wait, no, Dhruvan, you keep thinking, and then Tejasvi, which topic do
Wait, but
you?
I'm done.
Oh,
Chocolate.
you're done? Okay, you can go and then I'll do that for the rest of them.
Okay. So, do you chew bubblegum? No. Does your grandchildren or your children chew bubblegum? If they do, it's for a good reason. It's because it can help your brain mentally, and and if they have any tests, if they chew it during the test, it will help their brain and they might pass it. They might pass it. You might never know. And the flavor is very interesting and good. You can even chew it and you can feel the flavor. You can feel the flavor in your mouth. So the flavor will be interesting. It can do anything. Sour, sweet, spicy, and probably even salty. You might never know. And I'm done.
That was really good. Nice job with your hands. I noticed that. And the details you gave were good. You took time to state a point and then elaborate, which was really nice. And you tailored it to the grandchildren, you know? The grandparents will care about their grandchildren, so you said it'll help them with the tests, you know, they'll care about that. So good job. Okay, for the other three of you, I'm going to give you all your topics and then you can all think at once, so it'll go faster, okay?
Yep.
So Tejasvi,
Chocolate.
you're going to explain it to a classroom of hyperactive kindergartners. Advik,
Water.
water. A classroom of aliens learning Earth customs.
What?
So aliens have just come to Earth and you're telling them about water. And they're trying to learn about Earth.
Okay.
That's your audience. Okay, Dharmic,
Recycling.
recycling. A crowd of time travelers from the past. Okay, I'll give you all like 45 seconds to think. And then Tejasvi, you can go first. Don't overthink it. You ready?
Yeah, I'm overthinking it.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. Are you ready to talk about something yummy? It's chocolate time. Chocolate is a sweet treat that comes from a bean called the cocoa bean. Yes, it's like the magic beans from Jack and the Beanstalk. Farmers pick them up from trees, and then people turn them into chocolate we eat. It's crazy, right? There's milk chocolate, which is extremely creamy. There's dark chocolate, which is a little strong. And there's even white chocolate, which kind of tastes like vanilla. And guess what? Chocolate makes people feel happy. It's really, really happy. But only if we eat a good amount. If we eat too much, we'll get the zoomies and we'll have a tummy ache and we'll start running around like crazy. So next time you see a chocolate, give it a little smile and say, "Thanks for being delicious."
Good job. Nice job relating it to a story that they'll probably know and using inclusive language. Okay, Advik, let's hear what you got.
Okay. Have you heard of water? Water is this type of liquid with minerals for its taste. Humans are made of 75% of water. If water mostly fills up the earth, that's why you mostly see blue on the surface of earth. If earth did not have water, it would burn. Wait, no, it wouldn't. It would be dry. And humans would not even be on the earth because they also need water to survive. Okay.
Yeah, it was very informative, which I think for this audience of extraterrestrial creatures is very important.
Good job using facts on the, on the fly. You were still able to pull out a statistic, which, good job.
Okay, thank you.
And finally, Dharmic.
Recycling. Recycling helps save more objects. No. Recycling helps save more objects. It is good to recycle because, for example, you have a plastic water bottle. If you recycle that, there are trucks that pick up the trash and it could be made into something new. That's why you should save more objects. So it becomes something out of the junk, it becomes something new.
Yeah, that was good. I think for time travelers, I'm not sure if they would have trucks in the past. Right? See if you can tailor whatever you're talking about, recycling, to something that they might know. So choose a time period, maybe however far back you want. I don't know. And see if you can find an object that they might know and then connect it. Does that make sense?
Yes, that does make sense.
All right, give it one more go.
Plastic handbags.
Does your sister have ideas? She can go if you
Okay.
want. Let's see what she has.
Recycling. If you recycle, if you recycle, it's good for the environment. It's good for the environment, and if you recycle things, you can make new stuff out of it.
Yeah, inventing was pretty big back then. So that was better. I gave you a hard one, so I don't blame you. All right, we talked a little bit about persuasion before. So now we'll continue with these three.
Do you want me to take this?
Yeah.
Okay. So ethos, pathos, and logos they're all Greek words that I think Plato used to talk about when he was talking about how do you make an argument to people. So this stuff is extremely, extremely old, like 4,000 years old at this point, right? These ideas work, is what I'm trying to tell you. And what I just did there by saying that, oh, these ideas should work, these ideas work, that is an example of ethos. I'm basically lending credibility to the ideas by saying that they've been around for a long time, right? That's a strategy that I use to make you listen to me, which is the basis of persuasion, right? Pathos is about emotion. If you've ever heard the word like empathy or sympathy, that's the same root. It's about feelings. So let's say you were trying to get somebody to donate. I was trying to get you to donate meals for people that don't have them. I would try to use pathos in that situation by trying to make you feel bad for people that don't have food. And that's what a lot of people that are trying to get donations do. They show you that other people are having an emotionally sensitive plight, and that gets you to have action, right? That persuades you into action. And then there's logos. Logos you'll find used, it's unfortunately, at least in my opinion, the one that is the least effective because people are much more likely to go based off of their emotions than based off of logic and reason. But if I sell you this mouse and I say, oh, this mouse scrolls 50% better than other mice on the market, or it has more clicks before it breaks, that's evidence based. That's an example of logos, which that sounds like logic. So that's a good way that you can remember. And logos will prove that something is good. So if you're doing a scientific study, if you're having an argument or a debate in any way, you can use logos as like objective reality. If I'm trying to argue that one basketball player is better than another basketball player, and I say, hey, he makes 70% of his shots and the other guy only makes 40% of his shots, that's a statistical argument, which is an example of logos. If I try to say that, player A impacted me personally because I care about his story more than player B, who he didn't have a super emotionally compelling story. That's an example of pathos. And you'll find that even though one is based on logic and reason, that the stuff that's based on emotions works even better in a lot of cases. None of these are really better or worse than the other one. It just depends on the scenario, which again, that lends to knowing your audience. Ethos is usually what people will say if you ever see athletes in ads talking about Gatorade. That's an example of ethos, because as an athlete they're promoting a sports drink. The credibility in that situation is that somebody who's doing sports and is athletic is using this product, so reasonably, they have the credibility that you should use it too. So that's ethos. I feel like, at least in my experience from advertisements and stuff like that, it's the one that's used the least. If you ever see celebrities and stuff used in ads, that's a good example of ethos. Like, just because Tom Cruise drinks Coke, that doesn't change what Coke is. It just makes people want to drink Coke because Tom Cruise is somebody that has an enviable lifestyle, so they associate Coke with the credibility of that enviable lifestyle, right? Those are the three bases of persuasion, and you will find yourself using them. You guys have already used them, whether you are aware of them or not. You will use these, and just know which one is the right play in the right situation.
Okay, now I'll give each of you 2 of them, and then I want you to tell me which technique is being used. So, Dhruvan, take the first one and tell me which technique are they using.
They're using pathos.
Yeah, exactly. They're trying to appeal to your emotions of sadness. And the second one?
Wait, can I answer?
Yeah, this one's for you, the second one.
Logos.
Mm-hmm. They're using facts, statistics. It's pretty simple to identify them. Tejasvi, take the next 2.
The nutritionalist is ethos,
Mm-hmm.
and then the statistics is logos.
Yep.
Yep.
And Advik, next 2.
Advik, you're on mute.
Which one am I starting on again?
The 6th one?
Picture the joy on your puppy's face when you take them for a
Oh,
walk.
that's pathos.
Nice job. Next person. I've been a marathon runner for 15 years, and trust me, training consistently really
It
works.
feels like they're trying to persuade us.
Yeah, that's the point. All of this is persuasion. Pathos, logos, and ethos are all 3 strategies of persuasion.
Wait. I don't know. The
You don't know which
runner one.
So why should you listen to this guy? Like, if a marathon runner, why would he mention that he's a marathon runner? What does that tell you? What is that emotional?
No.
Okay. Now, is it a statistic, a fact, something like that that's included in his statement?
I think it's a fact that he's been a marathon runner for 15 years.
Yeah, that is a fact that he is a marathon runner for 15 years. Yes, it is ethos, because it's talking about the credibility of the person. So I can dunk a basketball, right? I have a good vertical. I can jump. If I'm trying to sell you a program to increase your vertical jump, I would probably mention the fact that I'm somebody that can dunk a basketball before I sell you the program, if that makes sense. Because you will believe me. You will believe the credibility that I have as a dunker when you purchase the product. So good examples of this are athletes, celebrity, if somebody if like people sell clothes using a model, right? Like the model advertises the clothes because they look good and the clothes are meant to look good. So in that aspect, they're using the credibility of the person to sell the product. You'll see bodybuilders sell protein supplements or gym apparel because the credibility of them having a nice physique is what sells the product. You get me? So the marathon runner telling you to train consistently is pushing the idea of training consistently using the fact that he is a marathon runner because that displays credibility. Does that make sense?
Yep. Thank you.
Okay, now I want you to give me an example of using ethos. You can make it up. It can be whatever. It can be related to you, but just give me a persuasive statement where they use ethos.
Okay. As a bodybuilder, eating lots of fruits and vegetables help you grow stronger.
As a what?
As a bodybuilder.
Right. Yeah. Good job. The bodybuilder is persuading you to use vegetables because that improved his strength. That's perfectly valid. That's an example of ethos using his credibility as who he is to persuade people to do things. Good job.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Donvi, you take the if you don't recycle, and then your brother can take the last one.
This one is pathos.
Right. And then Dharmic?
Logos.
Is it stating a fact?
Ethos.
Why is it ethos?
Then it's pathos. No.
Why is it pathos?
Pathos. It's ethos, bro. I said ethos. Why is it ethos? Because it states a fact. Logo states a fact, not ethos.
Ethos is about why should I trust you?
Yeah. So if anybody mentions their identity, if anybody mentions their identity, that's a good sign that it's ethos because they're pointing to their identity as themselves as a reason that you should trust them. So anything that would make them credible. So as a teacher, as a bodybuilder, as a marathon runner, as a dunker, all these examples are ethos because they're using their identity to prove why you should listen to them.
Does that make sense, Dharmic? I think he's muted, but we'll move on. All right. Looks like we have 7 minutes left. I think we can just cover this one.
Okay. Sharpening your point, clarity, and precision. Clarity, brevity, and intentionality. We've gone over filler words. You guys are good with not using them. Repetitions, softeners, and what is the other word in there? Repetition. And yeah, introductions. So softeners are something that are tricky and you'll find yourself using them in speech is where you say just, a little stuff like that. That softens the impact of what you're actually saying. A lot of the and using more complex words that have more punch to them is good. You don't want to overdo it. You don't want to sound like you're a guy that picked up a thesaurus last week and now is just picking every large word out of there because you want to sound smart. Don't do that. That leans into clarity. You want the audience to understand what you're saying. Don't use the biggest word that you know in every situation. Using simple words is fine. Brevity, shorter and stronger. People have this much attention. They're only going to give you the amount that they have. and attention is limited. So packing as much as you can into the small amount of attention that people have is good. And be intentional with what you say, right? Pick your points. Don't say everything. What I'm saying needs to have a purpose when I say it. And that will help with your clarity. And obviously, it'll help with your brevity because you're literally saying less. See, I use the word literally there. That's a softener. That's something that you might want. That's something that you might want to avoid. I could have said instead, by saying less, you limit the time that you're using, which makes your point stand out better. These things are hard to get perfectly. It's impossible to balance where you're perfectly clear and you're filling in all the details and you're not taking up a lot of time. You will miss stuff. That's natural. You'll miss some of the audience by being a little too detailed. You'll miss some of the audience by being a little bit too short. You just have to find the right balance that works for your situation. And that all loops back to knowing your audience, know what you're saying, know who you're talking to.
Because of time, I'm just gonna skip these. And then, Rayhan, if you can just cover this, and then I'll go over the instructions for the speech tomorrow.
Okay. It's very natural to stand in front of a group of people and worry about what they think of you and worry about messing up because you want to do well. It's good that you want to do well, and it's healthy and normal and positive to feel the feelings of being a little anxious or nervous in front of a stage. Now, what you want to avoid is letting that make your performance actually worse. A good quote about worry is that by worrying, you hit yourself twice with the problem. You hit yourself before it actually happens, and then the task at hand is going to happen either way. So eliminating as much pre-thought about what could go wrong is good, because you'll sit there and think about everything that possibly could go wrong, and in reality most of it won't happen. And the more you spend your mental energy on that 1% of things where you trip, fall, break all your bones on stage and forget how to speak English, is not worth your time. That situation is very unlikely to happen. Just focus on what you can control. Posture and breathing are two very important things. Don't be in. Keep your shoulders out. I kind of can't because my chair is really small for me, but keep your shoulders wide. Use confident hand motions and remember to breathe. If you're always at the front of your mouth and you're always just taking really short breaths and not taking any pauses, you're gonna sound hyperventilated. Slow it down, figure out moments to take breaths, and go from the base of your voice. Your body needs oxygen to work, and you'll feel really anxious if you're not taking deep breaths. You wouldn't exercise without breathing, so why would you give a speech without breathing, right? And if you do find yourself making a mistake and stuttering, recollect, go back, start from the beginning. Remember that most people actually aren't listening to you with their full attention. You guys do it. Everybody does it. Even what I'm saying right now, I guarantee you most of you aren't paying 100% of your attention the way I have to pay a lot of my attention to get it out sounding correctly. So just realize that you'll make minor mistakes here and there, and people really won't be able to notice. It's okay. Just worry about yourself. If you make a mistake, next play, next word, next sentence, next paragraph, there will always be an opportunity to redeem yourself. There is no end all be all. There will never be a last time that you speak. Well, there will be, but you know what I mean. There will never be a final speech that you have to give that decides everything in your life from now till forever. Give grace to yourself and just realize that it'll all be okay, and breathe. Biggest thing is breath.
Yep. Okay. So for the speeches tomorrow, we'll do it on the second half because I know Advik will be gone. Wait, will you be gone in the first half or the second half?
I don't know.
Okay, we'll decide then tomorrow.
Okay.
But I want each of you to give a short speech on any topic that you choose with any purpose, like we went over today in that activity that we did. I want you to remember the speech structure. Use good hooks. You can tell stories, you can tell jokes, you can ask questions. Start with a good hook. And
How
then
long does it have to be?
about 1 to 2 minutes. Yeah. And then remember the body should have a couple of facts along with some evidence, and then conclusion to tie it all in, and maybe even get your audience to think something with a call to action. So remember all the skills that we just talked about? Yeah, the speech should be between 1 to 2 minutes. And then don't worry, it's very casual, you know. It's just a celebration of the classes this week, right? So, I don't know where everyone went. What's going on?
They probably left early.
Yeah, 7:30 on the dot. Okay. Hold on.